because I know what's gonna be in here. I already know that I'm not gonna like it because I don't like me. Let's finally round out the martial arts unit. My goodness. Oh god, I'm standing.
As stated before, is a big, broad area, and you're going to see a lot of similarities and differences between style and style. One of the biggest comparisons you can make is East versus West. So I'm going to go a little bit more in depth with that today in this episode of Knowledge Drop with me, Greg Laurel. And frankly, I'm standing up because you've waited long enough to see me walk the walk. Anybody can tell you they're a martial artist. Anybody can buy a black belt. I mean, there was even a very famous line from the Karate Kid where Mr. Miyagi says, "You want to have a black belt? Go to Sears. They're like $5.99." Even though Sears doesn't really sell those.
I was just about to say Sears really doesn't sell those.
I'm personally not a black belt yet. I haven't earned that yet. I'm close though. I'm first Q.
Shut it.
The last belt before black belt test is in June. Wish me luck. But anyways, some of the stuff that I learned is very
There's a
much
hole in his shirt.
snapping kicks over swinging kicks. And even that was more of a snap than a swing. Like a swinging kick that ends up spinning me around because
It's hard to do one of those kicks in slow motion. I'm just gonna admit it.
There is that debate of would you rather push your opponent or stop them? Because a pushing kick pushes. A snapping kick does damage. I mean, even right there, you don't see my arm collapse here as I'm pushing it, but if I snap against it,
The reason I repeated it was because I had kind of given it to myself at first.
If I kick them and push them, sure, it'll make them gasp a little bit. But if I really want to knock the wind out of somebody, I'm going to snap that right into their solar plexus, hit them with the ball of my foot. Or if I'm wearing my work boots, I'll hit them with the steel toes. That's always hilarious, especially when you're like shin checking them, like bonk, and they're like ah. But anyways, I digress.
I think the energy drink I had that day was just kicking in.
Can I kick head high? Yes, I can, but these pants won't allow it. Actually, one of my greatest stories is I was sparring another guy who was about 6 feet tall, and I slapped him with the instep of my foot, and everybody was like, "Whoa, what was that sound?" Because he was trying to wrap me up, and I was like, "No!" And then I just slapped him with the instep. He recoils, and he's like, "Good one."
He did do that.
It was great, because the guy was like one of the tallest dudes in the studio, and I still got him right in the face.
You know, yeah.
But the kind of amalgamation that is my technique and tactic is going to, I mean, generally what I've learned is generally how to fight on the street. So I'll often start here. You know, look like I want to fight someone? No. But am I ready? Absolutely. Well, I can do whatever I want from this position. One of the biggest things is the legality of whatever you just did. Would you be able to justify using the amount of force you did in court? Because even this position, I don't want to fight you. I can still do whatever I need to. I can still hit someone with the palm of my hand. I can still poke him in the eyes. Or I can, at the very least, throw my hand out there and make him go, ugh.
It depends on where you live. Granted,
because
you know,
if you see something coming at your face, you're going to go move back a little.
yeah, that is true.
It's just natural human reaction. And if
You know, if you throw something at someone, they're gonna try to move out of the way, regardless of whether or not you're really gonna hit them.
If I'm going to be in a street altercation, I want this to be over within 7 seconds. If it goes longer than 10, I've done something wrong, because if I'm going to be fighting for my life, I'm not going to mess around. The longest recorded samurai sword fight was about 12 seconds.
Less than 20.
There's not a whole lot of those that you see in the movies where the guys are smashing each other's swords against each other for like 10 minutes. No. They wanted that fight to be over as quick as possible because we need to move on to the next guy. Or we don't want this to last long because the longer it goes, the higher risk we run of being hit and injured. I mean, even though I accept that in a fist fight, I'm probably going to get hit, and in a knife fight, I'm probably going to get cut. Even so, I'd rather this be over as quickly as possible, so that way we reduce the risk of injury to myself. Because quite frankly, I don't really care about how much I injure my other guy. Well, I do, but I want to because I'm trying to defend myself. But ideally, I want to end this quickly. It really does boil down to that. I want to end this fast. So what I might do is I'll be here like, "Hey man, I don't want to fight you." He takes that step.
Scar still hadn't healed.
And makes his intent very much known, and then just pow. And even that push kick could still knock the wind out of somebody. But what I'd rather do is just snap, And
You know,
there's
it's
follow-up
called a
stuff
stop
because
hit.
that snap might not end the fight. That snapping kick will knock them
You
down
know,
for sure, and maybe I
the
can
stop
get away.
hit, the purpose of a stop hit is to stop forward
And
momentum, and usually
what
it
you
is a
do is just
snapping
gonna
kick
do
that
what
will
you do.
do a
This
stop
is just
hit.
what I do, and I'm literally only showing this just to show that I have in fact trained, and that I'm not just running my mouth like I know what I'm doing, but I don't.
Still running your mouth, dude. Even if you
And
know what you're doing. I don't
if you
know.
don't think that
I don't
way,
know.
that's fine, and I'm sorry that you think that way. I'm sorry that you're at a point in your life where you feel like the best thing you can do is tell me.
I don't know what he just said, and quite frankly, I'm not sure it even matters.
Unlikely. But even so, you need to be able to justify what you're going
I
to do.
honestly think this is the only unit I'm going to
Because
properly
there's
descend.
people will say, no,
Just
he
the
was
martial
never
arts
defending
stuff.
himself, and they won't go to court because everybody knows you were defending yourself, and then it doesn't need to go to court.
I'm
So
not a
that is the
lawyer,
point.
by the way,
Because
so...
never ask yourself, is someone petty enough to do that? Because the answer to that question is always yes.
That is
Someone
true,
is
though.
petty enough to do that. What, is it the person you're up against? I don't know. It could be. So, I don't think I should have to think about witnesses if I'm going to be in a street altercation, but I really do, because if I'm here and I say, I don't
You know,
want
it's,
to fight
you know,
you,
when I
people
say...
generally remember what they see better than...
So when I said, you know, I don't think I should have to think about that. It's kind of like on principle, like, you know, things should not be such bullshit that I have to factor the potential for bullshit. Things should just work. That's the point of doing things. That's kind of where he's coming from. Like, you know, things should just work. That's the point of doing things.
What they hear. Because if I'm here, that looks like I'm gonna fight you, and especially if the other guy's got his guard up, it's really a toss-up because witnesses aren't reliable, make no mistake. Eyewitnesses are not very reliable because one guy will remember this and the other guy will remember that. So as much as they're not going to be 100% on your side, you want to kind of try to maximize it. But if your hands are open and you're kind of backing up, even though to the trained eye you're ready, most people aren't trained. Like, your average street thug is not going to have training. He might have been to a boxing gym every now and again, but if your opponent is a boxer, kick him to death. I read that, I don't remember what book it was, but there's a very famous book within the martial arts that basically just says, if your opponent is a boxer, kick him to death. If your opponent has a knife, shoot him. And if your opponent has a gun, well then, I don't remember what it said, but like, probably
I think it
like,
said...
if your opponent has a gun, then hopefully you didn't have to enter the altercation. I don't actually remember what it said.
I think it was the American Freestyle Karate book. I think that was it.
Because people just remember
because...
they hear. Even if you say, I don't want to fight you, man, your guard is still up, you're still ready to go.
Yeah, and if you don't have a gun, you can at least take your coat off, wrap it up, and use that as a shield against a knife.
His hands were open. He clearly did not want to fight. He wanted
I never wanted to fight a guy with a small sword. Like, small swords are really unnerving.
Videos that show up on Reddit under the caption, do even martial arts, bro, where the guy is just teaching really ridiculous stuff and it's completely useless, and then it gets open to an absolute roast on the internet. But I'm pretty sure I'm not going to avoid
That's probably...
this point, so what the heck? Why don't I just show you that spinning side?
He's at least bold.
Why don't I just show you that front snap kick? Why don't I just show you that head high roundhouse? So why don't I show you all those? Why don't I prove
You just did.
shadow box for 2 minutes? Heck, I challenge myself to shadow box for 2 minutes.
This is gonna be this will be hard to watch. Oh, they've added some other stuff here. I mean, he's doing some pretty close range. I think the reason why he's not fully extending right there is simply because of space restriction, or my shoulders might have been really tense there. Let's skip a little bit. You know, I'm asthmatic. It's hard to sustain for like that. I think just for the last bunch, he just wraps up the discussion. Okay, yeah. So, overall, I think this might honestly be the only unit within Knowledge Drop that I actually kind of dissent as much as I do. This is probably going to be the only one that I'm this hard on. This was the hardest one for me to get through. I'm willing to bet the other ones are gonna be way easier for me. And it's just because, of how low I think of myself physically. You know, shadowboxing for 2 minutes, especially as me who's lived with asthma his whole life, it's good. It's probably a minute 50 seconds longer than a lot of people can do. But very much remember, this guy was at least bold. He was willing to put it out there. He was willing to do this, and I'm honestly willing to say we've gotten through the hardest of it. So good on you for that. And by the gods, thank you for your patience.